Hello, 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 Noe here. Welcome back to another edition of Love in Deep Space, and this is a follow-up video to the video that I created earlier, which was male validation in female spaces. And I didn't expect that it would open up a bigger discourse and a bigger conversation, but it seems to have done exactly just that. And I found myself once again thinking about new thoughts and new opinions that I have that I would like to share with you once again. Would like to know your thoughts about it. And these are very important opinions that I thought of because I was genuinely bothered and disturbed once again, and I feel like I could use some perspective on it as well. So I would like to start by saying that, or asking, what does male voices in female centered spaces mean? Like, is there power dynamics that we are not looking at? Because at the root of my discomfort is the awareness that male voices still carry disproportionate power, even in spaces where they are the outsiders, like otome games. I feel skeptical because history, time and time again, has shown us that when men step into female-centered spaces, they often get more recognition, validation, and authority than women who have built them. So when someone says that, but they're so important to women's spaces because they, or female-centered spaces because they uplift and they curb ignorance, and I understand all that, but my question still remains. Is it necessary that their opinion is what is needed for us to be heard? Like, why aren't female voices by themselves strong enough? Why can't we believe in our voices being strong enough for ourselves, that we can do without their voices overshadowing ours? So that is a thought that I have. It's a thought that I had. It's like people listen when a man says it. That's the idea that I keep getting. I cannot help but get that. It doesn't feel like progress. It feels like a shortcut that erases women's voice again, because we're depending on a male's voice. We're depending on men to do our bidding for us. So that is something that I thought of. My second opinion would be that I cannot help but sense a kind of performative allyship. This is something that I'm at odds against even with my own self. I mentioned that I do not wish to speculate whether they are genuine or performative. But that is a thought that's just been bugging me quite a lot. I am not convinced because there's a difference between genuinely enjoying a game and then leveraging it to appear inclusive or unique. I can't help but doubt that many male creators simply cash in on the novelty of being that guy who likes otome, which feels performative. Even if they do enjoy the content, it can feel like their presence benefits them more than it does the community that they're stepping into. Because I'm not sure what they have done for the community for it to seem like, they're there to help uplift something rather than, I don't know, like maybe use it for their own benefit. I'm still battling with this thought. I'm trying to give them the benefit of doubt, but at the same time, something in me is just convinced that there seems to be more than what appears at the surface. Then another opinion that I have is that I do feel protective of female emotional spaces. And I say that with a lot of, love for the space I'm in and the part of community that I've become. Because otome games are emotionally intimate, they're sensitive, they're soft places that are often dismissed by mainstream and male dominated gamer culture, like especially those. And we've seen so many instances of that happen. I will not go through that again, but even in my last video, I've mentioned that happened many times. So for women, these are not just games, right? These are our spaces where they're safe, they're validating, and they're places where we are naturally ourselves, where we're allowed to be ourselves, we're allowed to breathe in these spaces. So when men enter these spaces, especially visibly and publicly, sometimes it feels like an intrusion, even unintentionally. And sometimes I feel like, do I need to protect this place or something? Because it feels like it can easily get misunderstood or diluted with what's being done. Another thing that I've been thinking of is that I worry about the dependency on male validation, while a lot of us establish that it might not be the case, that none of us are like vying for male validation. I'm talking more on the sense of a general basis of how things have always gone by. So I don't want the cultural narrative to be that our content is only valid when men start enjoying it too. I again would say that it implies women cannot change the narrative until men step in. And for me, that undermines the decades of advocacy, passion, and creation women have already put in. Again, it then circles back to the point of, are women not enough for our spaces? Are our voices not enough? We keep depending on men to uplift us. Why is that? Why is that we are not strong enough to do that by ourselves? When we talk about, I know that one of the comments, and I love her, the commenter commented that they help curb the ignorance. While I appreciate that and I understand that, but whose ignorance are we trying to curb? Why are we trying to curb men's ignorance about women's games? But whose or ignorance are we trying to curb? Men's ignorance? If that's the case in health, I can understand. Healthcare is important. But when it comes to games, when it comes to our entertainment, our books, right? Our games, why does that take center stage? Why do we have to labor our emotions in order to elevate the ignorance from men's minds, or use men to help curb the ignorance in their own minds for things that belong to us? That is my question again. And then we come back to the idea of, centering. Like, even in a conversation about uplifting female-centric content, the moment male creators are praised just for participating, the spotlight shifts to them. And I've noticed that so many times, and to be honest, it's kind of discouraging, because then there is this idea that I want to ask, who gets to speak for us? Why do we need anyone to speak for us at all? So that's my question. And I would also like to then finally point out that a lot of men do benefit from women's emotional labor, especially the idea that we have to work so hard to get men on board with us, and there's so much of emotional labor involved from women just to just to accommodate men as well, which then brings us to the point where don't men benefit from the hard work and emotional labor of women? So again, nuanced discussion, and these are the points that I thought of. Of course, a lot of, like, I would love to know the perspectives of all of you guys, and thank you so much for watching the video, for commenting. I absolutely appreciate your perspectives. You are so warm and respectful, and I am extremely humbled and touched. So I look forward to your opinions once again, and please do take care of yourself. I'm running really low on sleep, and I will take some time off and see you guys in the next video. Hopefully much more lighter content than what I've chalked out for the past couple of days. So take care, everyone. Thank you so much once again. With all my love, this is Nori signing off. From Silas as me as well. Silas, say bye. Silas doesn't want to say bye.